Well, hey, believe it or not, it has been 1 year since I brought that home. Um, so I want to do a quick kind of year in review. How's it been as a daily driver? Because I do drive it just about every single day. What do I love? What do I not love? Kind of just some of the things I've done to it over time, problems they may or may not have had. So I just wanted to kind of run through a few things. So we'll start off maybe a little bit with just some of the mods that I've made. And if you follow, me on the Jimny Facebook group or Jason and the Jimny Instagram, my website, whatever, you've probably seen most of what I've done. But I'll kind of hit the highlights as the things that, I think are really, really great. So, and some of these things may have not come out on video yet because I've got them scheduled, so the timing might be a little off. But, we'll start with the outside. I did front brakes. They weren't bad. I wasn't having any problems with them. It's just one of those, you get a car, you don't know it. You do some general maintenance to it, change the oil. I put the LED lights on, which I love. I kind of went back and forth. If you recall in the beginning, I asked what people thought, and I wasn't sure. I kind of like the original, just standard headlight look, but if you obviously look here, you can see I've got them on that too. So I thought, they're the same exact lights. So I thought, why not do it again? And I'm really glad I made that change. The light up logo, I've debated on whether or not I keep it. I like it. I think it's cool, interesting, different. I might make some modification to it. It is a little kind of thick, and I wouldn't mind it being a little thinner. Some of that is just finding better LEDs, so I can thin it out a little bit, but it's cool. I did go through a whole process, as you probably saw, of installing the HKS intake, and then the, I don't know what the other tube is called that goes to the kind of throttle body, and blow off valve and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, I took it all off and put it back to stock. No real reason. I had no issues, no performance issues, no nothing. It probably did help a little bit. I did feel like the turbo would spool up a little faster with it than without it. But, I hated the blow off valve sound. And I know, some of you have probably heard me talk about that before, but it just wasn't my favorite. Some people absolutely love it, and they want it, and they want to hear it. And maybe, I don't know, this is an automatic. I don't know. I've never had one before, so I don't know if on a manual it's better, but it wasn't really the blow-off valve sound when letting off on the gas that bothered me. It was the noises it would make as I was just driving. And again, I tried adjusting it. I tried all the kind of things to try to make it so it was really only on release, but there were times if at a certain cruising speed, it would just kind of hiss. And it was really obnoxious. My wife said it sounded like a city bus when it stopped with the air brake. So that was her description of it, because it was really, really loud. Maybe it's a blow-off valve I had. I don't know. But I went back to stock, and I've been really happy being back at stock. Other than that, it's just been kind of my other 3D stuff. I did the fog lights on the front, which I love. All the little kind of like bumper caps. I replaced the horns. That's been great. I don't know if probably can't see it from here, but one of my upcoming videos that you'll see, I actually put a stabilizer bar on the front of it, and it has made an absolute world of difference. I've had it on there now for a couple months, and without it, the steering was so loose that, I'd hit, the occasional 55 miles an hour on my stretch to my drive to work and back. And it just felt like it was like twitchy, just like super loose, twitchy. Could be my steering box, could be something else, but I saw Anything Wheeled, Ray at Anything Wheeled installed one on his Jimny, and I thought that's a great idea. So I have a video coming out. I painted it the same color as the car to match, so it looks really good. Sanded it down, painted it, and it has just added the right kind of resistance to it without it being, hard. So great mod. Backup camera's kind of cool, useless, but it works, and it's kind of neat. Made some adjustments to that over time, so it actually feels like it's the right depth and angle and everything. I love my grids on the window. I don't have those for sale because it's a lot to print them. I've thought about offering them up as a 3D file to download for those that want to print them, but I mean, it's a bunch of pieces, and you can only print one piece of the grid at a time. So I think there's 9 per side, so that's 18 prints. I have 2 printers, so I kind of knocked them out a little faster. And then all the other pieces kind of were up on one sheet. So all in, it's like 20 different prints for both sides. And it's just a long process. So I want to say all in, it's, if you're just able to rotate through, this is like nonstop gaps in between going to bed or whatever, I want to say it's like a 20-hour print. But yeah, that's the outside stuff. My little side marker lights, my custom side marker lights that I did with the sequential signals, LEDs. I think I put out a video on that already. If not, it's coming. Love those. I thought that's a great mod. I went back and forth on what color to do them. Tried them in white, tried them in clear. I tried all sorts of stuff, but at the end of the day, I just did orange like the marker lights should be with the black. And they're a little chunkier because I had to make room for the LEDs to go in there. And I actually really like the look of it. It's pretty neat. So I've only sold one set, and I know they got installed and they look really, really good. But I think it's a pretty cool upgrade. I'm sure I'm missing some stuff, but that's the big stuff on the outside. And then the inside, the cup holders and the phone mounts are the two things, like by far, I'm so glad I was able to kind of design a couple solutions that work. Like I love my tray version that sits kind of like underneath the e-brake and in front of the four-wheel drive shifter. It's the one that I use all the time now. I love my little console one. I think it looks great. It's a great fit. It's, sounds like I'm cheating on a home run, I'm not, but it's designed well. It looks like it belongs there. But it's a little bit harder to grab than the one that sits right in between. It's a really, really great solution. I know I've sold a couple of those too, and I love that solution. Went through a bunch of iterations of phone mounts, ashtray. I actually did a flat one that kind of also went to the console that it works pretty well. But the one I like the most is the coin slot version that you pull the coin slot out, you drop this in, clips into place, no tools, and then it's got a MagSafe mount. That I use that all the time. It's perfect position and I absolutely love it. Power windows, that was an amazing ad. I've got the system to add power locks, I just haven't done it yet. So that's coming in the future. Subwoofer has been a great ad. I know it's not a very big vehicle, but with the speakers, they're probably not the best quality speakers. They're a little tinny, but adding a sub just kind of makes those speakers sound great because you've got the rest of the mids and lows and everything that come out of the sub. So I'm really, really happy with that. Sounds really good. The power acoustic head unit that I put in there with the CarPlay, game changer. Love having CarPlay. I also am a smart home nerd. I've actually thought about creating a channel on that, but I don't have the time, so I'm not going to. And there's many other really, really, really good ones out there. So no point in me doing it. But I love that as I'm approaching home, it pops up on the screen and, I can open my garage door from it without, needing a garage door opener or opening an app or whatever. It's just on the CarPlay screen. One thing I am working on, and I feel like I'm super close, is modifying the enclosure to take a double din. You'd have to remove your ashtray and your lighter to make it fit, but that's something that I'm going to play around with, I think, and see if I can fit a double din in there. It might require some modification on the backside of where kind of the ashtray kind of frame sits. So as long as you're okay with making a permanent modification, which if you know me, not my favorite thing to do, it'll be a really cool solution though if I can get a double din in there. So I'm playing around with it. I feel like I got it close. I bought a 3D scanner. I was able to scan an original piece and then kind of work from that. So I feel like I've got a pretty good design with the mounting points and everything. The only thing I've got to figure out is will a double din fit in there from a depth standpoint, and where's the interference going to be on the backside, and trying to get the angle right where it's recessed enough so those with a 5-speed, it's not sticking out or in the way, which it shouldn't be, but something I consider. I have an automatic, so it doesn't matter to me. Let's see what else is in there that I've done. I love the rubber mat that I replaced the rear carpet with. It looks good. It cleans well. So love that. My little Speedo. As you can see, I came prepared for this video. My little Speedo, I love the little mount that sits in the vent to the right of the steering wheel. It's a perfect location for it. GPS, and it works really, really well. I actually installed one in this too. Did like a little A-pillar mount, and I've got one running in that too. Same exact one, and I love it. Yeah, that's probably the big stuff. As it relates to problems, I will say I haven't really had any problems. Literally 2 days ago, I had to replace the battery. I came out one morning, turned it over, and it just clicked. And I thought, well, that's strange. I threw a jump pack on it, and it started right up. I drove it around for a bit, made a few stops, got back in, it started right back up. I thought I was fine. I was gone for a week. As you know, I'm moving to Tempe, Arizona here in a couple months. And so I was out there for a week, and I got home, went to take it out, clicked, nothing. So I do have a battery tester in a cabinet, and I thought, well, let me just throw this battery tester on there. It did say it needed to be replaced. I thought about throwing it, I have a charger that has a reconditioning mode on it. I thought about just letting it run in a recondition mode and see if, I don't know, if maybe I could bring it back to life, because I know that's somewhat a thing. But I decided, well, you know what, I don't know how old this battery is. I couldn't find a stamp on it that gave me the age. It was in Japanese, so I didn't even bother trying to translate it. So I found a Toyota Prius battery. It's an exact fit. Like the posts, you don't have to have a custom battery mounts. That's got the same pencil posts, or JIS, I think is the right term for them. There's the SAE version, which is the standard everyday car, bigger posts, and the JIS, which is, I would assume, a Japanese or European standard. I don't know. But I was able to find it right down the street at an Advanced Auto, off the shelf, didn't have to order it. It was $260, so a little pricey. But I can already tell, like, it fires. I mean, I was having, I wouldn't say issues with it, but like start, and then it would it would idle low for like the first 3 or 4 seconds, and then it would kick in and be fine. I'm wondering if that turnover of the battery wasn't providing enough fuel, and so it was weak, and so it just took a second for it to kick in. Because now, man, I tapped the key and it fires right up. So I'm wondering if that's what it was. I'm not. You feel free to blow me up and tell me that's a silly theory, but that's what it seems like. But we'll see with time. I've replaced the fuel filter. I replaced the fuel pressure regulator. I replaced the spark plugs. I replaced the belt pulley because it was squeaking when I got it. I replaced one of the belts. Watch my early videos, you'll see my whole disaster on how I broke a belt because I installed it wrong. But that was all just for maintenance purposes, not because I was having any issues. When I first got it, the catalytic converter light would come on when it was cold. It would come on, and as I would drive, it would kind of fade away, and then when I would idle, it would come back. I'm assuming it's because it probably wasn't driven a lot for a while, because that light has completely stopped coming on. I mean, it comes on when it's supposed to when you start the car, but it doesn't come on at all. So I'm guessing that that's just a bit of a, it didn't get driven enough and maybe some buildup or something, but it's never come back, and I haven't, had any issues even when it was coming on. It didn't run, poorly or anything. It just came on. So I bought a sensor to change it, and then just never got around to changing it, and now it's gone, so I never put it on. Things I want to do would be next, I guess. I want to get the power door locks with the key fob on it done. There's another member in the Facebook group, I can't remember who it was, but she did it, and it's super, super cool. Was it her that did it? I don't know, forgive me for whoever you were. Somebody that's in the Facebook group installed power locks, and I thought that is awesome. So I bought the same kit, I just haven't done it yet. So that's a big one. I did just buy a spare OEM wheel. J-Mac bought a set of 4. He wanted one for a spare. I took another one for a spare. And I think I just found something that's got the same exact tire that I can mount on it. I don't think my spare tire cover will fit when I do that, so I'm gonna try to figure out if I just hold on to it as a spare. I'll paint it to match because I've got matching paint. Or if I just run it with the spare on the back and then get rid of the spare tire cover. The spare tire cover is kind of cool, so I don't know if I'll get rid of that or not. So I'm working on that. The tire's over here. I'll paint it, here soon, and and then, once I have that tire, that'll be a motivator to get it done. So in the process of doing that. Future state, maybe different tires. I've been doing a little bit of research on the size and what might look good. I really like the funky stance this has. It's so narrow, and the skinny tires, and they're 185, 85, 16s, and it's just a fun stance. I've come to learn that 185, 85, 16s are almost impossible in any brand to find in the States. So to buy, I found them on eBay. I can get them from Japan, but it's, I don't know, like $1,100 for a set of 4 before shipping. And with the additional duty fees and stuff that are out there now, like it's expensive. So I don't think it's worth having those. I have found a couple other Toyo that I can get here in a different size that will work just fine, but it loses the white letters. And I really love the white letter tired look. So I may just get a set of Toyos I can find here so it's easier. And then I'll get like a white letter tire pen and letter them myself, just because I think it's a really cool look. I don't know if I trust my artistic ability to be precise enough, but we'll see. I mean, that's kind of, I would say that's it. Like I've thought about like doing a custom grill, like the 3D designing a custom grill and then, printing it out and, fixing it all together and sanding, Bondo, all that kind of stuff to make it look legit. Because I don't love the Hummer style, Jeep style grill. And I found a couple other ones that I thought are really, really cool that don't fit mine. There's another guy that I talked to that bought a newer Jimny grill, and it's almost an exact fit, and it requires a little bit of modification. So that's an option. Those are all future things that I want to do, I don't have to do. So those are the little things. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else. Keep up oil changes, obviously, is an obvious thing to do. My air filter seems like it stayed pretty clean. I did do a oil catch can that does not seem to be catching a lot of oil. I don't know if that's good or bad. There's some in there, but it's just, I haven't had to empty it yet, and I've been driving it for almost a year with it. I don't know. We'll see. That's what I feel like I had what felt like an endless list of things to do in the beginning, or at least what I wanted to do, nothing I had to do. And, my fear early on with even starting this channel was I'll run out of ideas. A year in, I've got a couple more months of videos scheduled, but I feel like I'm running out of ideas. So, we'll see. I am still in the process of considering another K car. I know what I want. I've talked to somebody about keeping an eye out for me, but I'm not going to buy until I'm settled in Tempe. So no need to ship a car twice. So more to come on that. But this channel might become a little bit more than just the Jimny channel. It might be a little bit more about that car too. So sorry if that bothers you, but hopefully it'll be interesting enough. But okay, things I love, things I don't love. We'll start with the don't love first. And this kind of goes in both categories a little bit. And the first one is, kind of top speed. It's not fast, as any one of you know that has one. It's slow, but that's also what kind of makes it fun. They call it smiles per gallon or whatever. And it's true. It's a blast to drive, but it's not fast off the line, top speed. I rarely get it over 55, if ever. And it's, screaming at 5,000 RPM. Now, obviously it has a pretty high red line for what it is, but I wouldn't want to drive like that for long. So I don't have to, so it works out. But so that's one thing I would say is not great. The second thing would be parts. Now, it's not hard to find parts through sites like 500 Yen and Bai and Amayama, and there's a handful of sites out there. You can find just about whatever you need. The problem is the price. A lot of the parts, especially if you order them directly from Japan, are very expensive, and that's before you hit shipping. I don't know why, because I've been able to find a handful of parts that fit that aren't listed for the Jimny, Suzuki parts, that they might be for a Samurai or a Tracker or things like that are the same. and I've tried to capture them all on my Jason and the Jimny website, the stuff that I've been able to order just on Amazon.com, and they fit. So that was kind of a challenge of mine, is like anytime I wanted to replace something, I wanted to find a local part. So, you know, it's not terrible, but when you really want something, like when I bought the rear wing, rear spoiler, like obviously that's not a part you're gonna buy anyway, so I bought it from Japan, and I bought it kind of pre-tariffs, and so the shipping wasn't bad. I got a good deal on the spoiler itself, and then I painted it, so it wasn't bad at that point, but now with the added fees, it's painful. It's a good at least 40% markup on top of the price to get stuff shipped over here. So just, it's a watch out. The good news is there's parts are readily available. So, and you know, even if you know, in a pinch and you need something, you can get it. You're just gonna pay a little more for it. So that would be, you know, another thing. Then the last thing, again, is a positive and negative, is people love it. And that's gonna be on my what I love about it list too, but it can be annoying. And I don't mean that in a negative way. But you can't go anywhere without, what is it? Is it legal to drive on the wrong side of the car? I love it. Can I take pictures? Or they don't ask me, just do it anyway. And I really, really, really don't mind. But you know, it's one of the things that you've got to be in the mood. And sometimes, you know, I'm in a hurry, or I'm just trying to run somewhere and do something, and I get, you know, people that want to stop and talk. And when I'm not in a rush, I love it. But when I am, I'm just trying to go to work, and it's in the morning, and you know, it can be a little obnoxious. But so, no offense, I don't ever want anybody to not, you know, ask me questions about it. I actually prefer to hear from people than I don't. But it's not for everybody. You know, being kind of a, you know, you feel like you get a taste of what it's like to be a celebrity when like people won't leave you alone, right? So I don't hate it. I would say it's probably a little bit more of a watch out for those that might. If you're not a people person, like, good luck. You're gonna get a lot of questions. So yeah, so those are probably the things I would say I don't love. And the loves are gonna be very similar. Like, I love it being my daily driver. I love what it looks like. I love how different it is. And I always like to say that I like small and ugly cars. Now, I don't think that's ugly. But they're unique. So it's probably better to say small and unique. So I love it. I love what it looks like. I love the fact that I found this one with this color combination, because there's not another, well, there might be another one like it, but there's not many like it. I love that it's got a 2.5-inch lift. I love that the wheels are painted to match. You know, just the Jimny Land out of Japan, who does a bunch of custom Jimnys, just did this one, I think, super well. The wood finish on the inside, the seat covers, you know, I know they're basic and they're black, but they look really, really good in there. It's a really cool color. It's actually a Volkswagen Sandstorm yellow. So if you've seen the modern Beetles, they have a special edition called the Dune Edition. It's that paint color. So that's why it's easy for me to get matching paint. I just order that Volkswagen OEM color, and it's a perfect match. So love what it looks like. And then I'll say, you know, the second thing I love is how it drives. Like, I know one of my complaints was that it's slow, but when you're not, you know, needing to go above 45 miles an hour, it's just fun. It's the right kind of bouncy, rough, you know, I don't know, everything about it is kind of like, it's the character of having a Jimny. And it's what I love about it. I had two Samurais as a kid, and you know, I know they're a little different, they're not the same exact thing, but it's what I remembered as a kid about loving the Samurais, was just like, they're just fun. And it's probably weird to use it as a daily for what it is. I don't get good gas mileage in the automatic. I get about 20 to 21 miles to the gallon, compared to what I've heard some others in the 5-speed getting fairly significantly more, closer to 30, I think. But yeah, it's just such a fun car to drive around in. And I do little back road trips with it all the time, down to different, you know, kind of parts of Tennessee, back roads, hour drive, and it's just a blast. I love it. And then what would be my third thing? I guess I just love that it's modifiable, right? Like, that's what's great about minis. There's no two minis alike. You know, even the modern ones, they're kind of built to be made yours. And And that's how I feel these are from the folks that I've got to know that have them, whether it be in real life or virtually. Like, find two that look exactly the same. Like, it's really, really hard because they're built to be made your own. And I know I bought this one already looking like this for the most part. So I can't take credit for, you know, the paint scheme and all that stuff. But again, there's not really another one like it. And that's what I love about owning cars like this, is they're kind of meant to be different from one another. Now, I know you can say that about anything, but you know, I go to local Cars and Coffee all the time, and when the Corvettes line up, if they're the same color, they look exactly the same. Not a whole lot of other kind of mods being done to, there are, I know, so the enthusiasts, like, please don't blow me up, but I think you get my point. Like, there's just Camaros, Mustangs, at least the modern ones, Corvettes, all that, they all just look the same. They all mass produced, and they just look the same. And I know there's plenty of people out there that do a lot of cool stuff to theirs, and there are some pretty unique ones, but my point being is that the majority of Jimnys do not look alike, and that's what's cool about it. So yeah, again, no complaints. It's been a great car. I've got 160,000 kilometers on mine. I don't know what the math of that is, but it's like just over 100,000 miles. It doesn't leak anything. It doesn't smoke. Again, it starts right up and goes. I know there was some maintenance done onto it before it was sent over, but it's been a great car so far. Again, the battery is really kind of the first true, like, I had a problem I need to fix thing with it, but outside of that, it's no issues at all. So that's my year in review. I can't believe it's been a year. It's been so fun owning it and designing, you know, all my fun little parts that, you know, I do first for me, and then love that, you know, you've been interested, and I've sold, you know, I would say an impressive amount, all things considered, for doing it as kind of just a hobby and for fun, and again, for me first. But love that, you know, I get comments and, you know, appreciation for the videos I make, because as you've seen in my 100, 200, 300, you know, subscriber videos, like, I just did this for fun. For me, J-Mac, again, is kind of the guy who said, you should just document what you're doing. And I decided to do it as an actual channel. And I know he's got a bit of a channel himself. And it's just been fun. It's been fun to do for me. It's a learning experience. Like, I'm not a videographer. I'm not a video editor, any of those things. But I make it work well enough. And I've just really enjoyed doing it. So, you know, thanks to everybody for sticking around for the last year. I would assume videos will start to slow down here in a couple months when, because I'm moving, and that's just getting in the way of a lot of things. But again, I'm just running out of stuff to do, and I'm not gonna do stuff just for content. That's not how I work. But there's other stuff I gotta do. I do have rear brakes that I need to install. So I've got the rear brakes. Again, I don't think I need them. It's more of a maintenance thing. I want to do the double din stereo setup. Maybe the spare tire thing. You know, I've thought about throwing the spare tire on the roof rack instead of on the back. I've thought about doing some, you know, kind of designing some kind of like lights for the roof rack, some kind of like spotlights, fog lights kind of thing, just as cool. I just don't want something obnoxious. So, you know, I've got some ideas that I'll probably play around with over time. One thing I didn't mention, my digital gauges. So that video is probably the highest viewed video that I've had so far. You know, I posted it on Jason and the Jimny TikTok channel too, and it got a lot of attention really early on. And I didn't offer them up for sale because it was a lot of work, and it wasn't cheap. I want to say it was probably close to $300 by the time I was done for all the parts. For the boost gauge, the digital boost gauge, the digital pitch and roll sensor, the screens, the cables, you know, kind of all the stuff I had to do to make it work. The boards I had to solder onto the back of the screens, all that kind of stuff. It just added up fast, and I've been running it for almost the entire time that I built it and installed it, figured out the power part of it, and I just last week took it out. I didn't really want to take it out. One of the screens went out on me, and I pulled it apart and I tried to figure out why. Like, it worked, it was powering on, but it wasn't feeding data to it anymore. And I have a bit of a obsession when something doesn't work. I just don't want to look at it. So I pulled it out. It's in a pile. I'll probably figure it out eventually and put it back. But in the meantime, I just put my ashtray back in, and we're gonna deal with it. So that was one of my favorite things because it was just so cool, so custom. And I know I just copied code and I just followed videos from YouTube that I know I shared in the video. So, I didn't build it. It wasn't, I'm not the creative one here. I just kind of copied what someone else did, and then, used his instructions to color code it and change the graphics and all those things. And then I designed the mount obviously for it and did all that. So, the credit doesn't really go to me outside of the physically doing the work. But I loved it. It was super cool, super unique. Everybody I showed was just like fascinated by it. So I'll probably put it back in the future when I've got time to mess with it. I just didn't have time to mess with it, and I got annoyed with it. And so I was like, I don't want to look at a screen that's not turning on, because it'll be a distraction while I'm driving and I want to try to figure it out. So I just know better and took it out. But yeah, next big thing is a move. So I am in the process of finding a shipping company that can ship these two and my Mustang Mach-E, those 3 cars out to Tempe. So that's my next kind of ordeal. That's this week's project. So it's Sunday when I'm filming this. And so this week, probably tomorrow, my goal is to find a company that will pick these up and bring them out in a manner in which I can go out and meet them for the pickup, because that's how it works. They pick them up here, they drop them off there, and you've got to have someone there for both ends. So I've got to do it at a time where I'm traveling out there. So if you know of any good car shipping companies, drop it in the comments or message me and let me know. I know these narrow wheelbases, both of these are pretty narrow, like kind of freak some of the shippers out. When I ship these to here, at least not that, but this Mini and my blue Mini that I sold, the driver showed up and was like, those aren't gonna fit on my trailer. And I said, yes, they will. And they did, and it was fine, and he loved carrying them around. It was an open trailer, and it was a blue Mini, this white Mini, and my old Beetle that, if you remember early on, I had. Those 3 cars were shipped from Ohio to here. So I've done it before, I'll do it again, I'll figure it out. I'm not looking forward to it, and I just want it to be over with. I want those cars, to know those cars are there in my garage and safe. And then the cool thing is when I go out there for work, before I move, I'll have these to drive around, which will be fun. And then once I get out there, I really look forward to the Arizona car culture. Wild Child Classic Minis is out there, so I'm gonna probably have him build me an engine for this. It's got a 998 in it now, I want a 1275. And so I think I'm gonna have him build me something. It's been a great car, so it's hard to complain about it. It's just run flawlessly, runs really, really well, but I just want a little bit more power. My last Mini, the blue Mini, had a 1275 in it, and it significantly got more power than the 998. And I pulled the AC out of it because I didn't really need it. And in Arizona, I'm gonna need it, so I'll probably have them put it back too, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that's a big life event, is moving out there. So it'll be quiet for a little while. I'm gonna have to turn off my website for at least a couple weeks, because I'm just not gonna have time, and maybe a little longer depending on, moving, packing, unpacking, setting stuff back up. So we'll see. I'll put a message on my website and everything, and probably post it on the Facebook page when it happens. But yeah, and I've also designed, my friend has a Nissan Stagea. If you don't know what those are, look them up. They're super, super cool wagons, and you can get a version of them that are like a Nissan GTR, but in a wagon. So all the power in a really, really cool looking package. And he had reached out and asked me to design him. There was no place to put the gas. I'm sorry, something's going on with my eye, so apologies for me messing with it. But he reached out because he'd take the gas cap off and it wasn't attached, and he had no place to put it. He was afraid of losing it. And he said, "Do you think there's a way you can design something that can mount inside the door, the gas door, and that I can set it in while I'm filling up?" And so he sent me over some measurements. I threw something together, sent it to him. First go, it worked perfect. I designed it with magnets on the back so it just sticks to the back side of the fuel door. And I have sold the heck out of those things. Like, shockingly, like, I listed it. He posted about it, and then I jumped on and listed it and put it on my website. And out of all the stuff that I sell on that website, that's probably my top selling item. Like I sell those all the time. So pretty cool. Then I'm working on a light up badge for the Stage JA22. I've actually got a Stage JA grill over here I'm using as a mock-up, and that someone sent to me. And so working on a Stage JA version for that. It's actually pretty cool. It's better than the Suzuki one, so lesson learned, but that's why I'll probably update mine. And then I've made a handful of things for this. So the biggest thing, if you're a Mini person, you'll know the windows pop out in the back, just like the Jimny, but they're known for the hinges wearing out. And so when you hit bumps, they'll just kind of close on their own. And the kind of long-standing solution, for better or worse, people use tennis balls. They just shove a tennis ball in the gap and it holds them open, and that's kind of been the solution forever and ever. And there is a company that makes power, like you can push a button and they open up and close themselves. But I designed a really, really cool, very basic solution where it clips onto the hinge and it swings in and out. So you can swing it out and it props the windows open, and you swing it in and then you can close them, so you don't have to remove them to keep them on. And I've sold quite a bit of those to some overseas, although that's going to be put on hold until these fees go away, because I shipped one the other day. I think I charged $25 for a set. They wanted a set of 2, so I have $50. And then I looked it up. I think that's what it was. And I know shipping, it was in Germany. Shipping to Germany was, I don't know, like $28. And the guy was like, yeah, please send them to me. I'll pay $28. So, it was $78 all in for me to ship 2 sets to Germany. And of course, if you've shipped anything overseas or received anything overseas, you may or may not know this, but you'll get a follow-up bill that covers the costs of the tariffs and fees and whatever else. It was $30. So I did whatever, and I still made a little bit of money on them. I'm happy the guy in Germany wanted them, and he said they fit great and he loves them. So that's all that really matters to me, but it's really, really annoying. So I'll just have to be very transparent in the future about shipping overseas and saying, like, there's going to be an additional fee, and I won't know it until I get the bill, and then you'll have to pay it, because I'm just not going to pay that anymore. So that sucks. Hopefully that stuff goes away soon. But anyway, yeah. My new place, I'm not going to have this garage, and it's going to suck. Like, my garage is tiny. These 2 cars will fit just fine. Fitting a third is going to be tricky, so it's another reason why I haven't bought one yet, because I want to make sure I can fit a third one in there. I'm pretty sure I can. I've done some measurements and mock-ups to see, based on measurements of what I want to buy, and I'm pretty sure I can make it fit. But this is a detached workshop from my house. It's good, really, really, really good size. Tall ceilings. I regret not ever putting a lift in here, and I'm gonna miss it. But it is what it is. So yeah. I'm gonna stop rambling, because I know that's what I like to do, but I appreciate all of you listening. But yeah, that's my year in review, year of ownership, the things I love and things I don't love, what I've done over time, inside out, mods, etc. If you've got any questions on anything at all, please just, leave me a message in the comments, or, message me on Facebook or whatever, Instagram, any of them. I'm usually pretty good about responding. So shoot me a note, let me know. And I will answer you and help out in the best way that I can. I'm not a mechanic, so I've had a lot of people send me emails or messages through my my website asking, like, very, very specific mechanical questions, and I answer them if I know the answer, and I might even do a little research to see if I can find an answer, because I want to help. But just know, like, I'm not a mechanic. Like, I'm not afraid to work on stuff. I'm not afraid to figure it out, but I definitely don't know, a lot of the, like, whether you want torque specs and tolerances, and I don't know. I would recommend, Colt's Place, Benjamin Bates, I think his name is, on the Facebook group, and you can find his YouTube channel too. Like, he is an expert. He is a mechanic. He knows these things inside and out. So my recommendation is always, like, toss him a note, see if he can help. Sorry if you didn't want me to do that, but you're a wealth of knowledge. But yeah, I'm happy to help. So I'm always happy to try to answer a question, and will answer it if I know the answer, and will let you know I don't know the answer if I don't. So don't ever hesitate. And again, if you see me out in this, whether it be here in Tennessee or when I moved to Arizona, don't be afraid to talk to me. So don't take my celebrity side of it the wrong way. I love it. I absolutely love it. But again, it's one of those things. It's more of a caution for those that may not. That it is something that like it draws a lot of attention. So you just got to be in the mood for it, or be a people person. And as you can tell by this video and some others, I love talking. I talk a lot. I love people. So it doesn't really bother me. There's just those moments where if I'm trying to run somewhere quick and it's just like, you know, hey, and you're just like, ugh. And I always stop, and I'm always friendly, and I always answer, and I never, I'm never rude, never blow people off, but just something to acknowledge. So if you see me, by all means, talk to me. I will be looking for the local Cars and Coffee in Arizona. If you live there, if you're from there, you know anything about it, like, please, recommendations, restaurants, places to go. I love a good brewery. I've visited a handful already, but like anything, as someone who's never lived further west than Arkansas, this is a big change. But my wife and I are excited. So, all right, that's it. I'm done blabbing. This might be one of my longest videos so far. So, hopefully it was interesting enough. And if not, sorry. But I'll have another one coming out. Not this. I don't think it's this Friday, but I think next Friday. And I'm actually not even sure which one it is. But my cadence is every other Friday, so every 2 weeks. And I think I have videos booked in July, so not much time left for me to make some more. But I'll figure something out. But anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for everything over the past year. And I hope to keep this running for many more years. So anyway, take care. See you on the next one.